Listen to the Star Spangled Banner. Good crowd on hand here as we came here for the first game of the year, and there was a really good crowd on hand that first game, being the inaugural season of the North Adams Steeplecats. They drew a really good crowd. Tonight, not quite as full as it was that first night, but still a pretty good crowd on hand, about 500 people, maybe 400 to 500 people. It's a good crowd anytime, and especially during the week, as you figure the weekend games would draw more people. As the first pitch thrown out, and we're just about ready for the warm-up tosses for the pitcher, Robert Martinez, who's trying to get his season back on track. 1-5 record with a 5.70 ERA. By far one of the worst ERAs on the North Adams Steeplecats roster. Martinez trying to turn things around in his season this ball game here. The defensive alignment for the North Adams Steeplecats: Bobby Wilson at third, Jesse Perez at short, Kai Kelly at second, Sean Richards at first base. Outfield from left to right: Pat Dioria, Seth Peach, and Brian Graham. And behind the plate, Nick Roberts, and of course Robert Martinez on the mound. Scheduled three hitters for Torrington here in the top of the first inning: Lawrence Besperfet, Roberto Valiente, and Mike Sokol. The 1, 2, and 3 as we begin the top of the first inning. Just a side note here: Ladd Hall playing a little third base tonight. Has just 4 at-bats on the year, 0 for 4 on the season. Ladd Hall comes into the game usually pitching. He pitched actually last night, got the loss in that ball game. Comes back today, plays a little third base, just showing a little bit more of the versatility of the Twisters. Jeff Horgan also playing left field. He does pitching as well. Ladd Hall played some games at third base earlier in the season. I remember him playing one. I remember making a diving catch on a bunt attempt earlier in the season at third. He pretty much took over the closer role about mid-season, and he's flourished in the closer role. Hasn't had to play much infield, but with all the injuries, as we lost Dietrich with a broken leg, Farrell's been playing a little third base. It's just been time and time again. Blake Justice went down early. You can't forget Blake Justice's injury back in the first week. It seems so long ago. The first of many, many injuries that the Twisters have had to endure on the season. And now we're going to see Ladd Hall play a little third base tonight. After he pitched last night, I'd say he threw about maybe 20 to 30 pitches in that game. Lost the game in the bottom of the 10th inning. Torrington had a collapse in the 8th and 9th innings as they went into that bottom of the 8th with a 4-1 lead and quickly lost it. Martinez looks in for the sign. The first pitch is called strike one, and we're underway at Joe Wolf Field in North Adams. And Lawrence Besperfet takes a called strike one. Martinez back into the windup and the 0-1, slapped to the right side and out of play. Count quickly 0-2. Torrington has not been really hitting the ball at all. I don't want to be so crude, but they have not hit the ball well. But the big thing with Torrington, the 0-2 pitch in the dirt, ball 1 and 2 the count, is that Torrington's inability to get runners home when they have the bases loaded and 1 out, or second and third and 1 down. Last night we saw them strand 7 base runners in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. That really costed them the ball game. The 1-2 on the way. Fastball chopped to short. Not hard hit at all. Perez fields, throws to first base, and throws off the bag, but flies the tag. Sean Richards does a nice job right there as Perez's throw was up the catcher's side, up towards home plate side of first base, but tagging Lawrence Besperfet. And there's one down here in the top of the first.
Well, we're at picturesque Joe Wolf Field up here in North Adams. Nice high, steep mountains behind the outfield fences in the distance and then closer.
It's honestly something you can actually take a picture of. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful backdrop to the field as we sit behind home plate. We're actually not in the press box. We're actually in the stands with the people. Roberto Valiente steps up, takes the ball outside. 1 ball, no strike count, but it's just picturesque. The field dimensions: 325 down the line, 358 to the power gaps, and 385 to center field with a short 4-foot fence out in the outfield. The 0-1, a slider called strike 1, 1 ball, 1 strike count. Valiente playing a little right field tonight, hitting .231, 9 runs scored, and 5 RBIs on the season. Valiente, the right-handed hitter, facing the right-handed pitcher Martinez. Checks his swing, doesn't go around. Pitch is called ball 2. 2-1 now the count to Roberto Valiente. Valiente into the ball game and batting in the 2-hole, which is something we haven't seen all year. The 2-1 pitch, ground ball to second base. The second baseman, Kelly, is there, fields and throws to first in plenty of time. And there's quickly 2 down here in the top of the first inning.
Well, a couple of easy ground balls for Robert Martinez on the mound for the Steeplecats from St. Petersburg Junior College, rather.
And this is a big game for North Adams. I mean, we cover the Torrington Twisters. We know how big of a game it is for them to try to get a little bit higher in the seeding for the playoff. But this is a huge game for North Adams. Beating Danbury last night pulled them to just a game and a half out of first place. And with 2 games left, they could still technically win the division. And that's a big difference. That makes them a 3 seed. Sokol's first pitch swinging, foul ball down the left field line, 0-1 the count. But big implications for the Steeplecats. If they were to win the division, they go quickly from a 5 seed to a 3 seed. They end up becoming a home team favorite, and that would be something that North Adams would be able to do. The 0-1 pitch on the way from Martinez. Fastball in the dirt. The count now evens off at 1 ball and 1 strike. Sokol doing the DH tonight, coming into the game with a 276 batting average, 14 runs and 11 RBIs. He's a left-handed hitter. Swing at a changeup way out in front, made him look silly. And Martinez up in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Robert Martinez not showing any indications of a 1-5 record with a 5.70 ERA here in the first inning. Quickly has gotten the first 2 men out and now has a 1-2 count on Sokol. In the dirt, ball 2 with a fastball. The count evens now at 2-2. Sokol DH tonight. He played first last night. Him and Pisano every other game alternate first and DH. Both of them are good defensive first basemen. There's no drop-off at all when either one plays the field. The 2-2 on the way. Outside corner call. Strike 3 with a changeup. Sokol doesn't agree with the call, but Martinez has his first strikeout of the ball game, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Top half of the first is complete at Joe Wolf Field. The score remains 0-0.
Torrington Twisters baseball on WAPJ is brought to you.
And Torrington's defense, Lad Hall at third base, Vesper Fed at short. Second baseman tonight is going to be Lou Farrell. Jim Fasano at first base. Outfield from left to right, Horrigan, Lipschutz, and Valiente. And behind the plate, Emery Davies. Pitching on the mound, of course, Joe Short. Joe Short getting the start tonight, just his third start of the year, but he has been in 9 games, and he's pitched pretty well this year for the Twisters with a 1.44 ERA. Not a strikeout pitcher at all. He won't really walk you either. And he hasn't really allowed too many hits. Just 13 hits in 25 innings pitched. That's a ridiculous figure. Averaging just 1 hit given up every 2 innings almost. Joe Short has done a little relief. He's done some late inning work. He's started. He's just been absolutely probably the most versatile pitcher we've seen on the Twister roster this year.
He's had his most success during late inning work, but has been getting a couple starts lately from Daytona Beach Community College.
I like with the fact that what he does is even if he comes into the game, the score is 4-1, and they're losing, Joe Short has done a great job in keeping the game close all year long, allowing the Twisters to come back and possibly take the lead. We've seen him get a couple of wins in relief, and he has done a great job out of the bullpen, getting the start tonight. And I do believe Shane Kelly will be the starting pitcher tomorrow night at home against Mill City. Originally, it was Shane Kelly supposed to start this game, but it's going to be Joe Short. And Joe Short will have to face, obviously, the top of the order here in the bottom of the first. Jesse Perez, Brian Graham, and Seth Peach. And just a reminder that no Mike Wagner in the lineup for the North Adams Steeplecats, as he was hit by a pitch and injured last night in last night's game against the Westerners. He is got almost all the offensive categories to his liking, I guess would be the word to say, as he is leading in 4 offensive categories in the NECBL. There's a strike by Joe Short after ball 1 high. The count now evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Joe Short, right-handed pitcher, of course. Jesse Perez, a right-handed batter. He's a shortstop for the Steeplecats in the leadoff spot. We saw him last Thursday batting the 9-hole. The 1-1 on the way, swung on, popped up in the air, and coming back for it is Davies, and there'll be no room as it hits the top of the bleachers. Makes a nice loud noise. And the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter, Jesse Perez.
See, Jesse Perez from LA City College. He's from Burbank, California.
A long way away from home.
Yeah, opposite side of the country.
California boy here playing in the NECBL. Right-handed hitter, slightly open stance. Joe Short with the 1-2 pitch. Curveball floats in there, just misses the outside corner. Ball 2. The count now evens off at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Best way to describe Joe Short is slow, slower, and slowest. He will not throw the ball hard. He will throw the ball around the strike zone, and he will get you out and get you to ground out and pop up. And there's a ground ball to Vesper Fett to his left field and throws to first base in time. Perez is retired. There's 1 out here in the bottom of the first. And as I say, Joe Short gets ground balls and fly balls. This is exactly what he does. He doesn't strike out many batters, and he's not going to give up a lot of hits. Bottom line, he's going to make you hit into outs, and he needs his defense to be on their toes at all times. I'll bring up Brian Graham, the left-handed hitting right fielder. Graham in the 2-hole tonight, hitting .212, 11 runs, a homer, and 14 RBIs. Graham batted in the 5 spot last week against Torrington, and they've done some shuffling with their lineup as well, with Wagner out of the lineup. Joe Short's first pitch, inside and low, ball one. 1 ball, no strike count.
Well, the crowd making a lot of noise here at Joe Wolf Field. Right here at the very beginning of the game. A lot of pounding on the bleachers and making noise.
And there's a ground ball down to first base. Fasano can't field it. It's off of his glove and will trickle out to right field. Graham around first base, going all the way to second base. And now the ball gets away from Farrell, and the runner will go all the way to third. Ladd Hall blocks the ball, and a 3-base error. I think you got to give 2 errors on the play. As Fasano fielded the ball, missed it. It went into right field. Then Farrell, sliding over, trying to flip it back to Valiente to throw the ball in, threw it over Valiente's head. That allowed the runner to go all the way to third, so I think you got to give an E3 for the runner to get on. You got to give an E4 to Farrell, allowing him to go all the way to third, as he would have probably stopped at second base. So double error on the play. Torrington's now committed 2 errors in the inning, and there's a runner on third base with just 1 down on a simple ground ball to first base that turns into a runner on third. And now the best hitter probably, arguably on the team now with Wagner out, Seth Peach. Right-handed hitter. Joe works from the stretch, and it's popped up in the infield. Exactly what Joe Short wants. Best Perfett will camp under it at the shortstop position, and he will make the catch, and a big, huge out right there for Joe Short. After a double error, putting a runner on third, he gets Peach to pop up. That's a big out. Peach has 32 RBIs on the year. He's missing an RBI chance there. Now it's going to take a 2-out hit from Bobby Wilson, but Joe Short hardly out of the woods yet. Wilson, 279 average, 11 runs, 27 RBIs. He is trailing Seth Peach's teammate in the RBI category. Peach is second in the NECBL, and Bobby Wilson is fourth.
Yeah, Peach with 13 extra base hits. Quite an offensive season for the Steeplecats.
Big out by Joe Short to get him to pop out the short. First pitch high and tight to Bobby Wilson. Call ball 1. The count's now 1 ball and no strikes. So a runner on third and 2 down. North Adams threatening here in the bottom of the first. Double error on the play. Ball hit by Brian Graham, allowing the runner to go to third. Joe Short with a 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball swung on line down the left field line and foul. Just missing the chalk. And the count now even off at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Wilson, 8 doubles on the season and a triple of his 36 hits. Come across the plate 11 times.
And the count's 1-1 to Bobby Wilson, as Bobby Wilson nearly hitting a line drive down the left field line, just missing. And the 1-1 count. Joe Short will tow the rubber back up, trying to work out of a runner on third, 2-out jam. The 1-1 on the way. Curveball popped up towards the right side. Fasano gives chase, but nothing doing. The ball will go out of play. The count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Joe Short trying to get through the first inning unscathed after a double error, allowing the runner Graham to go all the way to third base. And Joe Short trying to bear down here in the first. That's pretty much what's gone wrong with the Twisters the last few games. Their margin of error is so small because they have yet to really bust out the hitting that every run they give up just seems so magnified. Short into the stretch, checks the runner, the 1-2 on the way. Fastball pops it up. Emery Davies behind the plate, camps under it, throws the mask away, and makes the catch, and the side is retired. A heck of a job by Joe Short to work around the double error. And the side is retired. No runs, no hits, the 2 errors in the inning, and 1 runner left on base. We've completed 1 here at North Adams, Massachusetts. The score remains tied 0-0. And can begin the top of the second inning. The Twisters will send up Jim Fasano, Jeff Horgan, and Lee Lipschutz, the 4, 5, and 6 in the Twister lineup. Torrington getting around, Joe Short working around that double error on the ball hit by Graham. Runner on third and 1 down. He got one of the best hitters in the NECBL to pop up to shortstop. Came out and got the number 4 hitter, Bobby Wilson, a very dangerous hitter, to pop up to the catcher and got himself out of the jam. So Joe Short working around the double error, and Jim Fasano will step up to the plate, left-handed hitting first baseman. He'll face Robert Martinez in the second inning. The first pitch is a fastball right over the black on the outside corner, called strike 1, and Fasano's down in the count 0-1. Well, Robert Martinez, with that 1-5 record with a kind of lofty ERA of 5.70, not pitching like that thus far. Curveball swatted towards the right side, ground ball into the hole past the diving second baseman Kyle Kelly. Jim Fasano has the first hit of the ball game as seeing eye ground ball single through first and second as it got just by the diving outstretched glove of Kyle Kelly and into right field for a single.
That's hit number 30 for Fasano on the season with the Twisters.
Starting to raise his average up. He came into the game hitting 246. That should put him over the 250 mark now. And now Jeff Horgan the plate. left fielder for the Twisters, hitting 139, 7 runs and 7 RBIs. Runner on first, nobody out. Leadoff man on here in the second. First pitch to Horgan. Nasty slider by Martinez. Swing and a miss. Horgan took a big hack. Comes up empty. 0-1 the count. Martinez looks to throw a decent fastball and a good hard slider. And we see him mixing a changeup now and then so far in the first inning and a half. There's a fastball in the dirt, missing outside, ball 1. The count now 1 ball and 1 strike to Jeff Horgan. Horgan trying to get things going on the season. Seems to have been just missing some of the pitches he's been swinging at. The 1-1 on the way. Fastball line drive right back to us here in the stand. And the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jeff Horgan.
Almost hit the mascot down there.
The mascot's got that extra padding. That must be the worst thing to have to wear on a hot day.
Oh, I
and it's
imagine.
black, too. Black and a hot day in a suit like that. Inside pitch. Backs Horgan off the plate. The count evens off now. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jim Fasano not really a threat to steal at first base. One of the slower Twisters on the team. 1 for 1 in the stolen base department. Has a very, 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 very small lead. Martinez into the stretch and the pitch. Slider almost came back over the inside corner. Horgan had given up on it. And pitch is called a ball. 3-2 now. 2 slow runners. Fasano at first, Horgan at the plate. Interesting to see if Coach Hunt will put Fasano in motion here. The 3-2 pitch on the way. Fasano does run. Swing and a miss. Throw down to second base. Not in time. Fasano, I think you want to say slide into second base. I would say more or less tumbled into second base. Now, that was definitely not the most graceful slide you'll see, but the key thing, Horgan goes down on strike. Strikeout number 1 of the ball game. Strikeout number 2 of the ball game for Martinez. Gives stolen base for Jim Fasano, his second stolen base of the year in as many attempts, so I'm bashing him about his speed, and he goes tumbling into second base with a stolen base.
Yeah, that happens so many times. Do the exact opposite of what you predict.
I think Coach Hunt trying to stay at a double play ball is what he was trying to do. Lee Lipschutz now at the plate in the 6th hole tonight, playing center field. He'll drop a bunt down the third base line. It's a beauty. Pitcher has to field, has to throw, can't throw, has to hold on to the ball. That's an infield bunt single for Lee Lipschutz. Heck of a job by Lipschutz to get a bunt down right down the third base line. The pitcher Martinez fielded, but he really had no play as he was going away from first base, and the way he fielded it, he would have had to really come up and kind of throw across his body. There was really just no chance. Lipschutz with a beautiful drag bunt. Second hit of the ball game for the Twisters. Second hit in the inning as well. Now you got runners on first and third with good speed at first, minimal speed at third, and Lou Farrell, the batter. He's playing second base tonight, hitting 198, 7 runs and 4 RBIs. Had a good day at the plate last night as Farrell went 2 for 4 in the ballgame with a run scored. Into the stretch, Martinez checks the runners. First pitch is on the way to Farrell. Line drive out into short left field. The left fielder comes on and makes the catch. Pat Dioria. Now the throw home after Fasano tags up. Not in time as Fasano will cross the plate. And Lou Farrell gets the job done with a runner on third base and only 1 down. He gets the sacrifice fly. That will allow the runner Fasano to score, and the Twisters have taken a 1-0 lead.
Well, thanks to the bunt by Lipschutz and Fasano right down there at third base. That was perfectly executed.
Well, that's exactly what I talked about at the beginning. You know, Torrington having runners on third base with less than 2 outs, not getting the job done. They've been striking out way too much in that particular situation. And that's a good job by Lou Farrell to hit that ball in the outfield and get that run home. Now let's see Ladd Hall at the plate, take the ball outside, 1 ball, no strike count. Ladd Hall just 0 for 4 in the season. He's only had 4 swings. Well, maybe more than 4 swings, but 4 plate appearances would be the better word. Hall's a right-handed hitter. He pitched last night. Lipschutz on the run. Called strike 1. The throw down to second. Bounce towards second. Lipschutz easily steals the base. Lipschutz with his 8th stolen base on the year in 11 attempts, and there's now a runner in scoring position for Ladd Hall and a 1-1 count to Hall.
A couple of stolen bases here for the Twisters. Ladd Hall from Eastern Arizona College.
Interesting little side note. North Adams usually has Bobby Wilson catching. He's playing third base tonight. Nick Roberts, the backup, is playing behind the plate. 1-1 on the way. Fastball swung at and right back to the netting in front of us. And the count now 1-2. A good hack right there by Ladd Hall. The scoreboard says 2-1, but the count is 1-2 as the pitch was called a strike when Lipschutz stole second base. So Hall down on the count 1-2. 2 outs. Runner on second base. Torrington with 1 run in already. They've taken a 1-0 lead here in the top of the second. Martinez steps off as they have to go through a set of signs with a runner on second base. Martinez back onto the rubber. Looks in for Roberts. Gets the sign he likes. And into the stretch, delivers the 1-2. Fastball, ground ball, past the diving third baseman into the outfield. A base hit for Ladd Hall. Rounding third base will be Lee Lipschutz. Going into second base with his first hit of the season is Ladd Hall. And a big 2-out RBI double by Ladd Hall, grounding that ball just inside the bag at third base. And Torrington's now taking a 2-0 lead here in the second inning.
Well, Ladd Hall going into that at-bat with just 4 at-bats on the season, as we've said many times, primarily used as a pitcher. Hit number 1, an RBI double. Nice, perfectly hit right down the third base line.
He couldn't ask for a better time for him to get his first hit of the season. Now Emory Davies will step up, the 9 hitter in the lineup, left-handed hitting catcher, hitting 118, a run, a homer, and a ribby on the year. First pitch to him, fastball, he gassed him, swinging a miss, he's way late. The count's now no balls and 1 strike. So Torrington doing the little things, getting Lou Farrell to hit that sac fly, and then a big 2-out clutch hit by Ladd Hall, and Torrington's quickly taking a 2-0 lead here in the second. Something that the Torrington Twisters have not done in their last 5 games. The 0-1 to Davies, swinging a miss, same place, and Davies was way late again. The count now no balls and 2 strikes, so Martinez gassing up Davies on the first 2 pitches.
Well, Davies a home run a couple nights ago down in Danbury. That was the 1 run the Twisters got in that game.
Martinez checks the runner at second base. The 0-2 on the way. Goes inside with a slider. 1 ball, 2 strike count. And I have to question the pitch selection by Martinez. You gas him up on 2 pitches up in the strike zone. I figure you go back with a fastball up around the eyes and try to see if he'll go after it. Instead, they pitch a slider on the inside, which is just going to speed up Davies' bat anyway. But it misses inside. The count 1-2. Martinez into the stretch. Checks the runner at second. Double check. Now the pitch, the 1-2. Fastball hit out in the center field. Back on his horse is the center fielder, Peach, way back, going towards the fence, and he makes an unbelievable catch right in front of the fence as he caught it over his shoulder, almost like a football receiver going after a ball. That is very hard to do in baseball. And a great play by Seth Peach in center field to retire Davies on a fairly deep fly ball. But Torrington does strike for 2 runs on 3 hits. There was no errors in the inning and 1 runner left on base. We've completed 1.5 here in North Adams, Mass. Torrington leads 2-0. Now you're ready for the bottom of the second inning. The North Adams Steeplecats will send up Evan Shahak, Sean Reynolds, and Nick Roberts, the 5, 6, and 7 in the lineup to face Joe Short. Joe Short taking the mound here in the bottom of the second, now with a 2-0 lead as Torrington picking up 2 runs on 3 hits in the top half of the second inning. Good job by the Twisters to get those runs home. First and third and 1 down. Time and time again, we've seen either a double play or a strikeout. Lou Farrell does a great job to get that ball in the outfield. Fasano tagged up. And then after Lipschutz swipes second base, a great job by Ladd Hall, who has barely even swung a bat all year. It's a fastball right inside the bag down the third base line, past the diving third baseman, Bobby Wilson. And that scored Lipschutz. And quickly, Torrington takes a 2-0 lead. As Torrington, we mentioned last night, they'd only scored 8 runs in the second inning all year long. That is amazing. Just scoring those 2 runs right there is 20% of the runs that they have scored in the second inning all year long, and we're in game 41 with 1 left. That is absolutely amazing. So Torrington doing something that they have very rarely done all year, and that's score in the second inning.
Right, the Twisters 1 game left, and that's back at home tomorrow at Bucenage Park against the Mill City All-Americans, 7 o'clock. Either come down to the park or listen on WAPJ. That's the last regular season home game, which is a makeup of an earlier rainout. And Joe Short will face Evan Shahak. First pitch is a curveball. Called strike 1 right down the heart of the plate. 0-1 the count. Shahak hitting .265, has 7 runs, a homer, and 7 RBIs on the year. And Shahak playing the DH role tonight. Saw him play a little outfield last Thursday. Fastball outside misses. Count now 1-1. Joe Short, as I said before, won't strike many guys out. He doesn't throw the ball particularly hard, but he just spots his breaking pitches, and he pretty much reminds you of a Bobby Ojeda that used to pitch for the Mets. They used to call his changeup a dead fish, and he gets a lot of pop-ups and ground balls, and there's a pop-up into the infield. The right fielder Valiente calls off the second baseman Farrell, and Valiente makes the catch in very short right field. And there's 1 down here in the bottom of the second. That'll bring up the first baseman, Sean Richards. Richards on the year hitting .136, 3 runs, 2 RBIs, 6 for 44 on the year. He has not played very much. Most of the starters for teams have over 120 at-bats. He just has 44, so you can tell that he's not a full-time player. Yeah, Valiente came almost onto the edge of the outfield grass, almost into the infield for that pop-up.
That's one thing about Joe Short. He needs his defense to be behind him and playing well, because He does not strike out many guys, gets a lot of ground ball and pop-ups, and he needs them to play well. There's a fly ball out to right field. Valiente essentially in his tracks, makes the catch. So first pitch swinging Sean Richards. He's retired on a fly ball to right field. Both put outs in the inning by Roberto Valiente. There's 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. And now Nick Roberts to the plate. Nick Roberts is catching tonight, hitting 158, 9 runs, 5 RBIs on the year. I tell you, Joe Short economizing on pitches. Just 10 pitches in the first inning and just 3 so far. Gets a quick third out here. He can get himself to 2 innings with almost 15 pitches. And there's a hard hit ground ball between short and third. That'll be a base hit into left field. So Roberts going up there hacking, as in most of the North Adams, very aggressive hitters. And there's a base hit between short and third for Roberts. A 2-out single for Nick Roberts, and that will bring up the batter, Pat Dioria. Dioria hitting 102 on the year, 6 runs, a homer, and 5 RBIs, 9 for 88 on the year. He's playing left field tonight.
Well, hard hit ball down there past third base by Roberts. No, very little reaction time for Hall. Nothing he could do at third base.
Yeah, that ball was smoked. Roberts lining that ball between short and third. And a 2-out single for North Adams. See if they can get things going here with 2 down. Dioria, a right-handed hitter, steps up to face Short. Short checks the runner at first, a long look, and delivers home. Called strike 1 on the outside corner, 0-1 the count. Not only does Joe Short not really throw the ball hard, he throws a lot of mixed change-ups and curveballs and off-speed pitches, but he's got a herky-jerky motion. It's all arms and legs coming at you, and then the ball comes after that. The 0-1 on the way. Fastball line drive into left field. That will drop in for a base hit. Horgan does a nice job to cut the ball off before it can get by him. Throws it back in quickly. And the North Adams Steeplecats, after 2 quick outs, have picked up 2 singles. Roberts and Dioria, base hit to left field for both of them. And now we'll bring up Kyle Kelly, the number 9 hitter in the lineup. Kyle Kelly's a 155 hitter, 13 runs, has a homer and 4 RBIs. Pretty good production out of the 9 spot. The 155 average a little low, but North Adams with first and second now 2 down. And Joe Short in a bit of a jam once again, as he's going to have to get Kyle Kelly out to keep North Adams off the scoreboard.
Kyle Kelly, the second baseman, coming in at 155. He has 15 hits and 2 doubles for the Steeplecats.
Short's into the stretch, checks the runner at second base, and the first pitch swung on, foul ball back, out of play over ahead, into the parking lot, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. On deck, if Kelly should reach the top of the order with Jesse Perez. Joe Short rubbing the ball out on the mound. And we'll toe the rubber up. Not as quick of a worker as most of these starting pitchers for the Twisters. Works a little bit slower, a little bit more deliberate. The 0-1 on the way. Short checks the runner at second, a long look at second, now delivers. Fastball inside corner, keeping the batter honest, misses. The count now 1-1. Very important for Joe Short to make sure he throws that fastball in the inner half of the plate, because if he doesn't keep them honest, they will start to look out over the plate for his breaking stuff. So he's got to keep them honest with the fastball. There's a 1-1 count now to Kyle Kelly. Joe Short gets the sign, and the 1-1 on the way. Fastball, ground ball to Short. Besperfet dives, throws the second in time, and what a heck of a play by Lawrence Besperfet, diving to his right, fielding the ball, presence in mind to throw it to second base to get the fielder's choice, and the side is retired. Heck of a play by Lawrence Besperfet, the smoothest shortstop in the NECBL. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 runners left on base. We've completed 2 innings here at Joe Wolf Field in North Adams to score Twisters 2, Steeplecats nothing.
Twisters Baseball on WAPJ is brought to you with underwriting by the Northwest YMCA. They have 2 locations, one on Prospect Street in Torrington, the other on Main Street in Winston. And again this year, the YMCA is providing complimentary workouts for your Twisters players. The Northwest YMCA. By throwing...
There, get ready for the top of the 3rd inning. The top of the order for the Twisters, Lawrence Besperfet, Roberto Valiente, and Mike Sokol. Torrington leading the ball game 2-0. They have 2 runs, 3 hits, and 2 errors. North Adams, no runs, 2 hits, and no errors committed. I will turn the play-by-play over now to Jeremy Palucho for the 3rd and 4th innings.
Well, thanks, Jeff, and we're amongst the lively and enthusiastic crowd here at Joel Wolf Field as the Twisters have a 2-0 lead over the Steeplecats as we head to the top of the 3rd inning. And Robert Martinez on the mound, the right-hander for the Steeplecats. Home plate umpire dusts off home plate. And Larry Besperfet, who made that sparkling play down at shortstop, diving attempt at the line drive, and then turned and got the force out at second base for out number 3. Twisters were in a bit of a situation. There were 2 runners on the bottom of the second, but now they were out of it with a great play by Best Perfett.
And not only did Lawrence Best Perfett save a run right there by diving, but he also got the out on top of it to close the inning. It was just a heck of a play.
And the kick in the first pitch for Martinez, the fastball, outside corner, called strike 1 on Best Perfett. Right, because that wouldn't have been an out, because he caught that as it hit the ground first. So he needed to get an out somewhere, and second base was the one. The 0-1 pitch dips low for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to count on Best Perfett. It was 0 for 1, a ground out to shortstop back in the first. Larry's a right-hand batter, looks down at deliver on the third base coach for the sign.
I think it's really funny because it seems like every pitcher finds their groove against Torrington, and though they're up 2-0, Martinez came into the game with 24 walks in 30 innings. You know what? He has not walked a batter yet in this game. And he's been nothing but ahead of hitters all game. It's been really kind of amazing. You've seen this guy. He's got 24 walks and 30 strikeouts. You think he's going to be a little wild, and you maybe get to work out the count a little bit, get some walks, get some base runners. He's been all around the plate all game long.
And now he's ready. He sets, kicks, and delivers. The pitch is low and away. Bounces away from the catcher, Roberts. Throw out a new ball. That's ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike to count. Best Perfett strikes bat across home plate. Bends his knees in his stance. He's also a lively base runner. The 2-1 delivery. The hard hit roller on the ground. Second baseman Kelly stops it, but it bounces and rolls away from his glove. And then a high throw pulls the first baseman Richard off the bag. But he wouldn't have had him down at the first base anyway. Nice for him to stop it. That was a well-hit ball, but it bounced away from his glove.
They're going to give that ball a hit for Lawrence Best Perfett.
Oh, an infield single for Best Perfett to lead off the top of the third inning. And the Steeplecats have yellow baseball shirts with a black short sleeve, white baseball pants, and a black cap. The Twisters have their gray away uniforms on with the orange and black accent as Roberto Valiente steps in, the Twister right fielder. He's 0 for 1. Martinez ready again. He sets, kicks, and delivers. The pitch is taken low. The runner takes off. Best Perfett down there, in there, standing up with the stolen base to throw down there at second base, but bounces away from the Kelly, the second baseman there. But Best Perfett was in there, standing up. What a jump he had on that pitch.
I tell you, I don't know why Best Perfett didn't slide, though, as he looked like he was going to go all into the diving rotation. He was going to go head first, and then he just slowed up, stopped up, and got to second base. But kind of awkward slides we've seen at second base this game. First Fasano with the tumble to second, and now the half slide stand up by Perfett.
The 1-0 pitch is swung and hit into right field, and coming over to his right and making the catch is Graham. And advancing down to third base and sliding headfirst into first base is Best Perfett. Throw in not in time down there.
And I really like what the Twisters are doing today. They're just playing some just smarter baseball than they've played. Best Perfett on ball hit the right field, line drive right there. He tags up, gets to third base instead of just going halfway and going back to the bag. He's utilizing his speed, utilizing the tools that the Twisters have. Perfett going to third base, and now you can go. You put the pressure on the defense. You make the defense have to come in, and now Sokol can shoot a ground ball through the hole, and you got yourself a third run. Just aggressive baseball, and Torrington seems to have gotten away from that the last few games.
And confident-looking base running by Best Perfett as the catcher Roberts is out in front of the pitcher's mound having a chat with Martinez about the situation. Mike Sokol is awaiting to bat as he moves the dirt around in the left-hand batter's box. Sokol, the designated hitter, he's 0 for 1, a strikeout. 1 out here in the top of the third. 2-0 to score. Twisters threatening. Larry Best Perfett 90 feet away from home plate. And the infield is playing shallow on Sokol. The kick and the pitch. Hard hit, high bouncer. Second baseman Kelly leaps up and makes the catch and then throw down to first. They got him after the first hop. That was a really high pop-up. One big high pop-up to the second baseman Kelly.
That is the proverbial Baltimore chop, and I'm really shocked. If we just got done saying how aggressive Perfett had been, why he didn't break on that ball. The ball was chopped a mile up into the air. They would have never had a play at home. Perfett did not run. Now there's 2 down and a runner on third base for Fasano.
Yeah, Jim Fasano steps in. He's left-hand batter. Martinez kicks and delivers. Fastball called strike 1, lower third of the strike zone right over the plate. A little bit of a gap in right center. The center fielder Peach is shaded to left. And Best Perfett takes his lead from first. Martinez on the mound, sets at the belt, kicks and delivers. Low and away, fastball, taken, ball 1. The count is even, 1 ball, 1 strike on Fasano. Oregon on deck. And Robert Martinez on the mound. He's ready again, looks down at third base, kicks and delivers. The 1-1 is swung on and missed for strike 2 on Fasano. Fasano from the University of Richmond. Came into the game at 246 and 3 home runs on the season. He's 1 for 1, a single back in the second inning. Came across the score. Actually had a stolen base. Stole second base. And the pitch is swung and hit in the air to center field. Shallow center coming in is Peach. And he makes the catch to retire the side. Fly out to center field. And a hit and a stolen base by Bess Perfett. No runs come across. 1 runner left on at the end of 2 1/2. The Twisters 2, the Steeplecats nothing from North Adams.
Twisters baseball action on WAPJ.
Well, Perez, Graham, and Peach, back to the top of the order, also here in the bottom of the third for the Steeplecats, as they will work to Joe Short, right-hander on the mound for the Twisters. Gave him a couple of hits last inning in the second. None of them came across the plate. Twisters up 2 0.
And I kind of have a feeling why John Cronin's on the lineup, too. You got to remember, Joe Short, more of a middle reliever, not really a starter. You probably see Joe probably go about 5 or 6 innings, barring just a horrific inning he has. But the bottom line is he's not going to probably give you a complete game. He's not that kind of pitcher. He's more of a middle relief guy. So you see him go maybe 5 or 6. You know the bullpen's going to have to be used. And you start to go down the list of pitchers on the Twister roster that have not been pitched or not been used the last 6 games. And the list is very small.
Right.
And one of them is Cronin, who has not pitched very much for the Twisters as of late. I assume that he's probably either in the long relief role or maybe even the short relief role. And that's probably why Cronin not starting in the outfield tonight. As Joe Short, you hope that he gives you a good 6, 7, 8 innings. If he does, if he gives you the complete game, it's just gravy on top. You know, the bottom line is Joe will probably give you 4, 5, 6, 7 innings max.
Hey, Short ready, kicking the pitch to Perez is taken inside for ball 1, about shoulder high. Perez 0 for 1. He grounded out the shortstop back in the first inning. He's the leadoff hitter for the Steeplecats. An open stance. He's a right-hand hitter. The kick and the pitch from Short misses low and outside for ball 2. 2-0. Graham on deck. Yeah, Cronin had some real nice plays out in center field last night and dropped a perfect bunt as the 2-0 pitch sails outside. A little bit low, an off-speed pitch. Ball 3. Quickly ahead in the count is Short. Likewise behind in the count is Perez. Or rather, the other way around. It is the other way around. 3-0. Call strike 1 on the outside corner. Strike 1. Perez is ahead in the count. 3-1. I don't know. I'm backwards tonight.
You start calling ball 5 and ball 6, that becomes a problem.
So Short ready again. He sets, kicks, and delivers. The 3-1 is swung and fouled on the screen behind home plate, just to our right here. We're seated almost directly behind home plate. Underneath the overhang of the grandstand, there's an aluminum ceiling to the grandstand, the roof. Made a big loud boom when the foul balls land up there. Enthusiastic crowd making the noise again. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The count full on Perez.
Remind me to make sure Torrington never puts aluminum bleachers in Houston Edge Park.
Right. Long looking for the sign from Short. He sets, and the payoff pitch to Perez. Inside for ball 4. Inside and a little bit high, around shoulder height. He turned his back toward the ball. Move out of the way. Ball 4.
And Joe Short, something he doesn't do very often either, is walk batters. And leadoff walk here in the third. Not what you want to do when you're up 2-0, and you put the leadoff in on. Perez 5 for 5 in the stolen base department on the year.
So Brian Graham will step in, the Steeplecats right fielder. Reach base on an error back in the first. He bats left-handed. Takes his lead from first is Perez. Short turns and throws down. Back standing up safely is Perez. Fasano holding Perez on down there at first base. Fairly shallow in center field. His lip shuts. And the first pitch to Graham is a bouncer down to second base. Farrell up with it. He turns and goes down to first base. No play at second base. Perez had a great jump. He was already down there by the time Farrell got that ball. Actually, he had crossed by Farrell by the time Farrell got to that ground ball. He was like 5 feet away from second base.
That makes that play by Lou Farrell even more impressive. Jesse Perez was off and running on the pitch. He actually tried to get in the way of Farrell's line of vision for the ground ball. Farrell did a great job just to stay with it, presence of mind to get in front of the ball and throw to first base. But the runner does move up to second with 1 down, and now bring up a great hitter in Seth Peach.
Yes, Seth Peach, major part of the offense of the Steeplecats, who have done well in their inaugural season in the NECBL. First pitch to him is lower third of the strike zone, called strike 1 on Peach, the center fielder for the Steeplecats. He's a right-hand batter, adjusting his batting gloves up there. Now he steps back in. 0 for 1, fly out to shortstop back in the first. Short looks back at second base. He sets at the belt, kicks and delivers. Swung on and missed for strike 2. Hard swing by Peach.
I'll tell you, Joe Short got Peach to pop out in the first pitch he saw back in the first with a runner on third and 1 down to shortstop, keeping the score with 0 because all Peach had to do is really get that ball to the outfield. Now he's got a 0-2. He's made him look pretty funny on the first 2 pitches, too. As Joe Short, making one of the better hitters in NECBL, look bad.
The 0-2 pitch is swung on and pops foul out of play, first base side, beyond the fence out there. Some people chase after it. And Peach, as I said, 13 extra base hits, 5 doubles, 3 triples, 5 home runs for the Steeplecats, leads the club with 5. Bobby Wilson on deck.
He's really been just unbelievable in this lineup, but I don't know. You throw out Wagner in the lineup at the top of the order, and the stats drop off tremendously without Wagner in the lineup. It's a wonder if Seth Peach can carry this team tonight and tomorrow's game for him without Wagner in the lineup.
So Peach on second takes his lead. 1 out here in third. Pitch is taken high, an off-speed pitch, ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Peach. And Peach out of Oregon State University. Looks back in there. Joe Short on the mound again, looks back at second base. He sets the 1-2 delivery. Is hit in the air, fly ball, a little flare to right field. Coming over about 10 feet from the foul line and making the catch in right field is Valiente. The throw in, and no play at second base. Tagging up and going down to third is Perez. He wouldn't have had him. Blocked off by Best Perfett.
I tell you, it's interesting. That ball is cut by Best Perfett, and it probably would have been safe at third base, but I would have liked to see that ball go through, barring the fact that Hall would have definitely been able to block it, because Roberto Valiente really just showed off his arm. That was a really good throw by him from right field.
Right.
Might have been a little closer at third than we might have thought, because he had a lot on that ball.
Yeah, I think it would have been pretty close, but definitely safe as Bobby Wilson steps in, the Steeplecats third baseman. He's 0 for 1. The right-hand batter is Short, kicks and delivers. A line drive down, way down in the corner in left field. Horgan giving chase. Coming on to score is Perez. Rounding first and going down to second, standing up with an RBI double is Bobby Wilson as the crowd comes alive.
That's Bobby Wilson's 28th RBI on the year. And that's a big 2-out hit for the North Adams Steeplecats, trimming this lead in half, 2-1.
No, 2-1 the score. Twisters up by 1 run now. As Emery Davies, the catcher, goes out and has a short conversation with Joe Short on the mound. And an RBI double for Wilson to score Perez. That's the first run of the game for the Steeplecats here in the bottom of the third inning. As Evan Shahak, the designated hitter, will step in. He's 0 for 1. Slide out to right field. He's a right-hand hitter. Steps in, stands up close to the plate in the batter's box. Sort of a straight up stance. First pitch to him is called a ball, a little bit high. 1 ball with no strikes on him. Shahak from Glendale College, from Arcadia, California.
The California boy, all the way in northeast New England, playing summer ball.
Joe Short ready to kick, and the 1-0 pitch is popped up. Sky to right. Valiente right there, coming a few feet to his right. A few steps, makes the catch, and the side is retired. 1 run comes across for the Steeplecats. 1 runner's left on. Wilson at second base by the RBI double. At the end of 3 complete innings, the score 2-1. The Twisters with the lead over the Steeplecats. This is NECBL baseball on WAPJ. Well, Horgan, Lipschutz, and Farrell, 5, 6, and 7 in the Twister order to face Robert Martinez, entering his 4th inning of work for the Steeplecats. Twisters up 2-1.
North Adams turning the tables back in the bottom of the third after Torrington scoring those 2 runs in the top of the second, featuring a big 2-out RBI double by Ladd Hall. North Adams turns the tables around, and they get themselves a big 2-out RBI double by Bobby Wilson. Cuts the lead in half, 2-1. Torrington hasn't really made things easy for themselves all year. As I went through the scores, checked their scores, Torrington has not had a game where they've really blown somebody away. And that comes into the fact of where they're not getting runners in when they have chances to put people away.
First pitch to Jeff Horgan. Tails outside and low for ball 1. Horgan's 0 for 1, a strikeout. He's in left field for the Twisters. Horgan, a right-hand batter. And Robert Martinez kicks and delivers as the line drive bounces off the pitcher Martinez and into center field. A hard hit ball by Horgan straight back to the mound.
I tell you, I hope Martinez is okay. He's waving off the umpire. Umpire checked to see if he's okay. That ball kind of
You heard the sigh in the stands when the ball was hit because it hit him down by the shin area. It looks like it got a piece of the glove before the shin, thankfully so.
I was thinking the one good thing is that he didn't look like he's in pain at all. He was just walking around like normal around the mound after, but it did definitely hit off of him. That hit off of him hard.
Yes, it did. It looked like if he didn't get the glove on that ball, that would have been a direct shot right on the shin, and that would have been very, very serious.
He fakes the turn, throws the arm up as if to get ready to throw down to first base. Horgan goes back safely, takes his lead again. Lee Lipschutz the batter. Martinez kicks and delivers. A hard hit line drive going into left center, into the gap, but racing over and making a diving or sliding catch is the center fielder, Peach. A great play. He came a ways to get that one. That was a well-hit ball by Lipschutz.
Well, we saw John Cronin make couple great plays in center field last night. Now we see Seth Peach putting on a clinic out in center field for the North Adams Steeplecats. He made that beautiful over-the-shoulder catch back in the second inning, and now he makes an unbelievable sliding catch in the left center field. So 2 gems for him tonight, and keeps the runner at first base.
And Lou Farrell, the second baseman for the Twisters, steps in. Horgan on first base. Farrell 0 for 1. He flied out to left. Martinez kicks and delivers. Horgan takes off. The pitch is taken outside and low. The throw down to second base. Horgan down to second base. The stolen base, sliding head first. Nice throw by the catcher, but Horgan got a good jump. It's a surprise to see him with a stolen base.
I was just going to say, that is Jeff Horgan's first stolen base attempt of the year, and he is successful 1 for 1 now on the year. So Torrington has a game plan, and you can see it already. They're going to run and run and run off Nick Roberts as Torrington sending people to second base on stolen base attempts that haven't really even tried all year. So they're trying to exploit Roberts behind the plate and the fact that they put Bobby Wilson at third base, and they're trying to exploit that and trying to get themselves in the scoring position with multiple stolen bases. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3. That's their 4th stolen base of the ball game. And guys getting stolen bases that don't normally get them. Jim Fasano, Jeff Horgan. Of course, Lipschutz and Lawrence Best-Perfett usually steal bases, but Horgan and Fasano had 1 attempt between the 2 of them going into this game.
1-0 count on Farrell. And the pitch from Martinez is taken up a bit for ball 2, 2-0. Ladd Hall on deck. Farrell, the second baseman for the Twisters. As Horgan takes his lead from second base, a surprise stolen base. About as surprising as Fasano, as we pointed out. And the kick and the 2-0 pitch to Farrell is a fastball taken high and a little bit inside for ball 3. About shoulder high. Not enough to make Farrell move out of the way of it, but it was fairly close to the shoulder up there. And there's 1 out. We're in the top of the 4th. Robert Martinez ready again, looks back, a long look to second base, and the kick and the pitch outside for ball 4. So Farrell, 1 out, base on ball. Runners on first and second now.
There's your first walk of the ball game for Mr. Martinez. Gentleman coming in the game with 24 walks in 30 innings. Hadn't walked the batter thus far. There's your first one of the ball game.
So Ladd Hall, who had in just his 5th at-bat of the season, his first hit of the season back in the second inning. He's 1 for 1. Smacked a double way down in the corner. Hard hit line drive. He's the third baseman tonight. Martinez kicks, delivers. Inside corner fastball. A called strike 1 on Hall. And Brian Roy coaching down at first base and Deliveron down at third base. Hall just looking at the signs from Deliveron. Now he's back in there. Martinez on the mound, leads in for the signs. Looks back at Horgan at second base, the runner. Steps, a slight step, but no move back there. But Horgan goes back to second base. Now the batter, Hall, goes back in there. And Martinez leaning in from the signs from catcher Roberts. Horgan with his lead. Nobody really holding on. Shortstop a little close to him. And Martinez, the kick and the pitch. Swung and missed. First strike 2 on Ladd Hall. Davies on deck.
One of the better curveballs we've seen thrown by Martinez. Had Hall way out in front.
Runners on first and second. Farrell also down at first base takes his lead. Martinez playing a little more attention down to the second base runner. Martinez kicks, delivers, swung and fouled in the air, popped up out of play and out of the park. First base side beyond the dugout. Count remains 0-2 on Ladd Hall. Ladd Hall from Eastern Arizona College. Very limited offensive stats. As we said, used primarily as a reliever and went to the All-Star game for the Twisters as a reliever, along with Wick Udy and Jason Jones. And the count's 0-2, and the 0-2 delivery. This is well outside, a little bit high for ball 1. 1-2 on Ladd Hall.
I'll give Ladd Hall some props. 4 at-bats come in the game. Got an RBI double, a big 2-out RBI double back in the second. He's working the count here, trying to give himself something that he can handle. Looks like he's been swinging all year up there.
Yeah, that shot must have felt good. They really get a hold of one. And the pitch swung on and missed for strike 3, though, this time. 2 down here in the 4th. Paul out on strike, swinging. Yeah, some tricky pitching by Martinez. Those are some close pitches.
Well, Bud Hall didn't look bad at the plate, though. Just fooled right there on the curveball, but had some good hacks up there. Promising for Coach Hunt to see him swing the bat well, because if you can plug him into third base, there's your extra infielder for you for the rest of tomorrow night's game and the playoff run.
Here's number 9 hitter Emery Davies, who's the catcher for the Twisters. Bats left-handed. Martinez kicks, delivers, well outside. Roberts has to reach out and grab that one behind the plate. That's ball 1.
Davies reminds me of Jim Tomei. Big left-handed hitter with a slight uppercut. When he gets a hold of one, it goes, but when he misses, he misses. And we've seen Emery Davies hit a home run in the year, but we've also seen him strike out a few times. And that's pretty much exactly what the book on him is going to be, I think, for the remainder of the season.
And Davies is one of those batters who stands almost completely straight up in his stance. Lunges forward slightly, but doesn't bend the knees much at all. He's a left-hand hitter. Runners take their leads from second and first. Martinez, a long look back to second. The kick and the pitch. Here's a fastball taken outside a little bit for ball 2 on Davies. Oh, Larry Besper-Fett on deck. 2 down. And the Twisters with a threat. Outfield on the right side, shaded to left. Both the right fielder and the center fielder, Peach and Graham, shaded. Slight gap. And the 2-0 pitch is hit well into right center. And this will go all the way back to the warning track. Bounces in front of the fence. Horgan will come across the plate easily. Peach throws in, and on his way home is Farrell racing to home. He'll score. The ball comes into the middle of the infield. A stand-up double for Emery Davies. A well-hit ball to right center. That one kept carrying. And that was different than the other balls. Some balls go out there, you think they're going to be line drives, they end up being fly balls. That one it was hit hard, but didn't look as hard hit as you would think for it to travel as far as it ended up traveling. It didn't want to come down.
Well, I could tell when Emery Davies swung at that pitch, he got good wood on the ball, and I could tell by the way Seth Peach reacted, the ball was going over his head. He short-hopped the fence in deep center field, so as I was saying, it's a swing miss or a hit ball that when he makes contact, it goes. And that's a huge 2-out, 2-run double for the number 9 here in the lineup.
Martinez, first offering to Larry Besper-Fett, is taken low and in the dirt outside, ball 1.
That is now the 3rd run of the game. It's 4 runs in the game for Torrington, but the 3rd run scored with 2 outs. So they're getting the big 2-out hit today, something that Torrington has not done all year long.
The 1-0 pitch is a hard hit roller. The runner leaps out of the way, Davies, and that's the shortstop, Perez. He fires down to first base to get Besper-Fett. The side is retired. 6-3 goes the play. Right below the running, the runner there, Davies, had to jump out of the way of that ball, but it got to the shortstop. 1 runner left on, but not before the Twisters add 2 more runs to add some cushion to the score. They lead 4-1 now over the Steeplecats at the end of 3.5 innings from Joe Wolf Field in North Adams.
In that division, and Torrington would do the damage of knocking North Adams back a game, which would pretty much clinch the division for the Hanbury Westerners.
First pitch from short is inside, about belt high. That's taken ball 1 by Sean Richard. Yeah, again, the North Adams Steeplecats second in the Western Division. Twisters right behind them in 3rd place. Important game as the kick and the pitch from short sails low and away in the dirt. A nice block by Davies. He had to reach out and grab that one, full extension of the arm. That's ball 2. Roberts on deck. Big gap, though, in right center. Very large gap. The kick and the pitch from short is outside. Not as outside as the previous one. Went across the plate. Cut outside a little bit. That's ball 3. Richard showing the patience up there. Some outside pitches. Short trying to get him to reach out and try to grab one. The pitch. Outside corner called strike 1. There he gets one in there. 3-1 strike. Richard 0 for 1. He flied out to right field back in the 2nd. He's the first baseman. He's a right-hand batter for the Steeplecats. Short ready again. The kick and the pitch. A line drive into left field. It'll fall in for a base hit. Oregon picks it up and tosses it back. Leadoff single for Richard here in the bottom of the 4th.
Joe Short really mad at himself after that pitch. You saw him look over at Davies afterwards and said, 3-1 pitch. Tried to come with a deuce, but the deuce didn't break. Hung right up in the top of the zone. And Richard did what most batters would do with a hanging curveball. Thankfully for Joe Short, it stayed in the park. Just a single.
Absolutely. As Nick Roberts, the catcher, will step in now. Another right-handed hitter as Richard leads from first. Roberts 1 for 1, a single in his last at-bat. And Short's pitch There's a fastball right down the middle, called strike one. Roberts steps out and looks down to his third base coach for the sign. Number 11 down there. So the pitch to him is swung and a bouncer. Third base side out of play. Foul right off the fence next to the dugout. 0-2 goes the count. Roberts, the batter, he's from the University of Vermont. And he resides in North Adams. Right here. Oh, short to the belt. And the 0-2 delivery. A low outside bouncer. A nice diving stop by Davies, the catcher.
A heck of a block right there by Henry Davies, a slider. And as I said before, when a slider comes from a righty, it's going away from your glove hand as a catcher. When it's a lefty slider going down and in, it goes to your glove. Much harder to block with a right-hander on the mound.
Short ready again. His pitch is popped straight up in the middle of the field. Into center field. Lipschutz coming several steps to his right, and he makes the catch in left center. Right center. One down.
And that's what Joe Short does. Joe Short yet to record a strikeout in the ball game, and he'll just lull you to sleep on the mound, just trying to get you to do anything you can to pop up or ground out. And he'll want you to go up there trying to swing as hard as you can because he knows that he provides no power on his pitch. You got to provide it all, and that's what he does. He gets a lot of ground balls and a lot more pop-ups than ground balls.
Pat Theoria, the batter now. His Short's ready. Runner takes off. The pitch is swung on. A line drive looping. Falling into shallow center field for a base hit, and the runner around second base with all he done third to throw in on the one hop is not in time. Sliding head first into third base is Richard. That surprised me because he was going down to second base, and that ball was in very shallow center field, and he just kept flying down there to third base.
Well, that's why you put the runner in motion. Richards on the pitch was running, and a line drive back up into center field, typically a ball that you would not be able to take third on, but when he was running on the pitch, had a great jump, was almost at second base by the time the ball hit the outfield grass. He turned on the jets, went to third base, challenging the arm of Lipschutz, and now there's runners on corners with just one down for Kyle Kelly.
Kelly 0 for 1. He popped out the shortstop, Larry Besperfet, back in the second. He's the second baseman for the Steeplecats. Right-handed hitter. Runners on first and third, one out. Joe Short ready. He sets, looks back to third to kick and a pitch. Called, strike, tailing onto the outside corner of the plate, strike one.
Actually, Kelly was the one that hit that awesome ground ball to shortstop that Perfett stopped in the hole, that diving play to the right side through to second base. Kelly actually almost had himself an RBI single.
That's right. They got the force out at second base on that right. Pitch is swung on and a bouncer foul, third base side, just through the third base coach area, kicking way down in the corner, bouncer.
Because I was going to make a point about it here with Kyle Kelly coming up with another chance to try to get a run home here. He got robbed his first time up, was what I was going to say. Got robbed his first time up. Could have had an RBI single very easily. Now he comes up with first and third and one down. He's got another opportunity to pick up an RBI and try to cut this lead in half.
Short ready. He sets just above the belt, and the kick and the 0-2 delivery is hit in the air again to right center. Lipschutz in shallow right center, comes way over, makes the catch. Runner comes across the plate. Another run will come in. The throw is off. Davies about a quarter of the way up the third baseline. And Richard and Dioria come across the plate on the fly ball. Lively base running again there. They just kept going.
So Richard scores from third base. Dioria stays put at first. Scores now 4-2 in the game.
Oh, okay. That was the batter standing there. Okay. I was going to say he came a long way on that from first base. Wow. Okay. 4-2. Davies goes out to the pitcher's mound. Very brief little talk with Short. And back to the top of the order with Jesse Perez. Perez an open stance at the plate. Drew a walk back in the third. Later came across to score the first run for the Steeplecats. Short's pitch is hit. Little looper in shallow right. Valiente trots in and makes the catch in shallow right field. Side is retired. Well, before too much harm is done. One runner's left on. Only one run comes across. And at the end of 4 innings complete, the score of 4-2. The Twisters with the lead over the Steeplecats.
And Torrington Twister baseball action is brought to you with...
Okay, Jeff, as Valiente, Sokol, and Fasano due up here in the top of the 5th inning for the Twisters. They'll be facing Robert Martinez on the mound. 4-2 the score. Twisters with the lead, and back with the play-by-play. Here's Jeff Denoyer.
And Torrington here in the top of the 5th inning. This is where they really need to build on their lead. So many times on the season, they've taken the lead into the 5th or 6th inning. They don't really pull away. They keep a team in it just enough. And this is a time for Torrington to try to extend their lead. The first pitch on the way to Valiente. Bounces in the dirt all the way to the backstop. Ball 1, 1 ball, no strike count. Valiente 0 for 2 in the ball game. Grounded out to the second baseman Kelly in the first. Flew out to the right fielder Graham in the third. And officially 0 for 2 in the game. 1 ball, no strike count now to Valiente. He steps out of the box, digs himself back in now, and Martinez into the windup and the 1-0. Fastball line drive into right field, sinking quickly, and the right fielder Graham cannot field it as a sinking line drive base hit into right field for Roberto Valiente. And the leadoff man out here in the 5th inning for Torrington. Torrington 4 runs, now 7 hits, 2 errors in the ballgame. The North Adams Steeple 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. Mike Sokol will now step into the batter's box. 0 for 2 in the game, struck out looking in the first, and grounded out to the second baseman Kelly in the third. Big hole between first and second now with the runner being held on. Valiente 7 for 9 in the stolen base department on the year. Torrington's been very aggressive stealing bases this game. They already have 4 in the game. I wouldn't be surprised to see Valiente take off sometime in this at-bat. First pitch on the way to Sokol. Fastball called, strike 1 right down the heart of the plate. Martinez ahead in the count, no balls and 1 strike.
Lights are on here at Joe Wolf Field, and talking to Coach Brian Roy before the game near the batting cages, the one complaint he had was the lights. The towers are very low. Not good lighting.
Runner going on the pitch. It's a pitch out. Valiente still steals the bag. So a pitch out. The count now 1-1 now to the batter Sokol. Valiente running. There was a pitch out called. Robert still couldn't throw the runner out. And Valiente steals his 8th base of the year in 10 attempts and is now a runner in scoring position. And you're right about that. The towers are really, really low. And what that means is if the ball were to be popped up above those lights, you could probably lose it.
That's what I was going to say. He says they're kind of blinding, and I didn't even notice that until he mentioned it, but that is true. That usually they are much taller than those are.
There's a base hit out in the left field for Sokol. Rounding third base, Valiente. They will send the runner. The throw on the way to the plate, not cut off, and the runner is thrown out at the plate. Valiente is cut down at the plate on a strong throw by Pat Dioria. Sokol singling to left field. They tried to send the runner home, but a one-hop throw to the catcher, Roberts, who had the plate blocked nicely. And Torrington is retired for the first out. With a play at the plate, you never want to get the first runner thrown out at the plate. And in this particular instance, they do. As Sokol singling to left field, the left fielder Dioria cut the ball off in the left center field gap, threw on to home, a one-hopper to the plate. Valiente dead duck all the way. And there's now 1 down, runner on second as Sokol went to second, advancing on the throw. And now bring up Jim Fasano, 1 for 2 in the ballgame with a run scored and a stolen base, his second stolen base of the year. Sokol takes his lead from second. Martinez into the stretch and delivers. Fastball outside, missing ball 1. 1 ball, no strike count to Jim Fasano. No, Torrington with 2 hits in the inning and not a run to show for it.
Yeah, very nice play by Dioria. Got to give him credit on that. A perfect throw, and the catcher Roberts.
And it was only going to take a perfect throw, and that's exactly what it was. Fastball outside, missing 2 balls, no strike count. But I think sending the runner there, you never want to make the first out at the plate in an inning, but Marty Deliveron right there doing the good job of sending the runner. You put the pressure on the defense, make them have to make the great play, and that's exactly what Dioria did. You can't take anything away from him. He threw a great throw to home and got down the speedy Valiente. And the 2-0 on the way, high and outside ball 3. So Martinez has not yet technically retired a batter in the game. He's got, or in the inning, excuse me. He's given up 2 hits in the inning, got the runner out, played it, cut down at the plate. Now behind 3-0 to Fasano. Martinez checks the runner. The 3-0 pitch on the way. Taking all the way, strike 1 on the outside corner. And the count now 3-1, and now Jim Fasano will roll as he's taking on 3-0. Looking for the perfect pitch on 3-1, trying to drive home Sokol from second base. Torrington now has 8 hits in the ballgame. That's an offensive explosion for the Twisters. As Fasano opens stance, left-handed hitter awaits the 3-1. Martinez delivers, curveball, and he walks him on a pitch outside as he had first base open essentially, and he had essentially wanted no part of Jim Fasano as he walks him with a curveball that misses outside, so he doesn't challenge him on 3-1. And head coach Kevin Winterward will head out to the mound as he is going to talk to Mr. Martinez. Interesting to see here if North Adams would be aggressive and make a pitching change. It's just the 5th inning. Martinez has pitched 4 in the 3rd innings thus far, allowing 4 runs, all earned, 8 hits. He's walked 2 and struck out 3 thus far. Runners on 1st and 2nd, 1 down, top of the 5th. Torrington leading the game 4-2. Jeff Horgan will be the batter. He's 1 for 2 in the game with a run scored and a stolen base. And a long talk out there. Well, home plate umpire is going to go out there and break up the discussion.
I asked the coach his name while I was down there getting the lineup card. It's Winter Road, like the season.
Oh, Winter Road.
The Winter Road.
Thank you very much.
That does simplify it a little bit. It's a very strange-looking name in print.
It doesn't look like that. It's not spelled like that at all. Sort of like the center fielder for the North Adams Steeplecats. His name is Seth Peach, and you think of it as P-E-A-C-H as in the fruit, but it's spelled P-I-T-C-T-S-C-H, whatever. Spelling bee, I did not ever win at. But the key thing is some of these names are pretty amazing. Torrington has a few of them themselves. Discussion's over. Martinez into the stretch. First pitch to Horgan, misses outside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strike count to Jeff Horgan.
No, spelling was not a strong point for me back in my grammar school days either.
Oh, mine either. So we'll just let them tell us how to pronounce it, and we'll go ahead and do what we got to do, right, the way we think is right. 1 ball, no strike count now to Horgan. Swings and pops it up into shallow right field. Second baseman is Kelly. He drifts to his left and makes the catch in shallow right field. There's now 2 down in the inning. A big out right there for Martinez. Now it's going to take another 2-out hit for the Twisters, as that will bring up the number 6 hitter in the lineup, Lee Lipschutz. Lipschutz had a drag bunt single back in the 2nd inning, stole second, scored, and then flew out to center field in the 4th. He is officially 1 for 2 in the ball game. And Torrington, 4 runs in the game. 3 of them have been scored with 2 outs, as Emery Davies hitting a 2-out, 2-run double back in the 4th inning, and Ladd Hall with an RBI double back in the 2nd inning. 3 of the 4 runs coming with 2-out hits. Nice to see Torrington coming up in the clutch and getting some big hits. And they're going to need to do it again here, as the runner on second base, Mike Sokol, the runner at first, Jim Fasano, and Lee Lipschutz at the plate. First pitch to him from Martinez, fastball high and tight, missing, ball 1. 1 ball, no strike count to Lee Lipschutz.
Well, Lipschutz from Stony Brook College is showing versatility for the Twisters through most of the season.
Playing a little center field tonight. As I said, Cronin probably not in the lineup, probably because he's probably in long relief or middle relief tonight, so Lipschutz getting the start. The 1-0 on the way in the dirt, ball 2. 2 balls, no strike count. So Martinez getting Horgan to pop out into shallow right, getting a huge out in the inning. That now makes first and second 2 down. But now he falls behind Lipschutz, 2 balls and no strikes. Picturesque Joe Wolf Field here in North Adams, Mass. Beautiful backdrop and out in center field. 2-0 on the way from Martinez. Swung on, nubbed off the end of the bat, and foul back to the backstop. Horgan out in front of that pitch. Looks like a 2-0 changeup Martinez is. So Martinez not challenging the hitters when he's up in the count. When he's behind in the count, he's coming at him with breaking pitches and changeups. And the count, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Sokol not really a running threat down there at second base. He's only had 1 stolen base attempt.
If he were to strike third right now, I think I would probably keel over with a heart attack. As Lee Lipschutz at the plate, he's going to have to drive him home with a hit. You're not going to see Fasano and Sokol double stealing here. Now, they have attempted stolen bases today, which is pretty scary. The 2-1 on the way. In the dirt, ball 3. Lipschutz holds up on the pitch. Count now 3-1. We saw Jeff Horgan swipe a base earlier in the game. That was a first for the season. So Torrington has been playing very aggressive, stealing bases and then also sending that runner home. The aggressiveness has paid off, and it's also hurt them as they got a runner thrown out at the plate here in this inning already. Martinez into the stretch. 3-1 pitch. Checks the runner on the way. Fastball nubbed foul. Another changeup on 3-1. Lipschutz was way out in front and cued it off the end of the bat. The count now full, 3-2. Sokol on second, Fasano on first. They'll be running with the pitch. As there's 3-2 count, 2 outs here in the top of the fifth. Torrington up 4-2. Trying to get some insurance runs. Torrington trying to get themselves ahead of in a ball game, a sizable lead early, something they haven't done all year. Martinez in the stretch. The runners break on the pitch. The 3-2 swung on and missed. Lipschutz goes down on strike as Lipschutz swings at a slider on the outside corner, comes up empty. Martinez picks up strikeout number 4, and the side is retired. So Torrington, no runs, 2 hits, no errors in the inning, and they strand 2 base runners on. As we head to the bottom of the fifth, Torrington leads the Steeplecats 4-2.
Twisters Baseball on WAPJ is brought to you
And the bottom of the fifth inning, Brian Graham, Seth Peach, and Bobby Wilson, the scheduled hitters for the Steeplecats. That is the 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup. Torrington, 4 runs, 8 hits, and 2 errors in the ball game. The North Adams Steeplecats, 2 runs, 5 hits, and they have yet to commit an error. Graham will come to the plate, left-handed hitting right fielder. He is 0 for 2 in the game. Reached base on an error in the first and grounded out to the second baseman Farrell back in the third, 0 for 2. And Torrington up 4-2, missing an opportunity in the top half of the fifth inning. Runners on first and second, 1 down. Oregon popping up, and Lipschutz striking out to retire the side.
Graham from William Patterson University.
And Graham will step in. The crowd getting very amped here in North Adams. First pitch from Joe Short, misses ball 1. 1 ball, no strike count to Brian Graham.
Yeah, they were excitable right from the get-go here tonight. Very enthusiastic crowd.
1-0 on the way. Fastball, ground ball, back up the middle, and into center field for a base hit. Graham starts off the fifth inning with a leadoff single. And Joe Short had a chance to maybe field that ball, but didn't get down on it enough as the ball was hit pretty hard back up the middle. And now Seth Peach, one of the best hitters in the NECBL, stepping up to the plate. This is by far one of the most animated crowds I've seen in NECBL action all year.
Yeah, they just don't tire.
They just don't tire as the complete stands are shaking as we're trying to call the game here. But you got to love the excitement, though. And they're an inaugural team, and I think that's a great thing for the NECBL in the long term. Because you got a team that's playing in their first season. Not only are they doing well, they're making the playoffs, but you got a very enthusiastic crowd. They have a good turnout every night. And the bottom line is this is what NECBL baseball is all about. You know, you go out and you support your local team. Joe Short, throw to first base, token throw, back in safely is Graham, standing up. Runner on first, nobody out. You get into the meat of the order, and when I say meat of the order, I mean they are bashers. They're 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Have a lot of RBIs and a good base average. There's a fly ball in the center field. Lipschutz broke in on the ball, and he should have broke back. It goes over his head all the way to the fence. Rounding third base is Graham. They will hold the runner up at third. The throw is cut off at the shortstop position by Des Perfett. And Seth Peach and the North Adams Steeplecats in business here in the fifth. A double to deep center field over Lipschutz's head. Lipschutz made a run in for the ball. He took the first step in. It should have been a first step back. That ball drilled to right center field over his head. The runner at third base stopping as the ball was retrieved quickly by Lipschutz and thrown back into the infield very quickly.
Yeah, got it back in there right in time, just soon enough. Fortunately, no runners come across, and this crowd's into it.
And guess what? John Cronin's warming up in the bullpen.
Oh,
I must be unfortunate. I must go into I must be able to foresee the future.
You get to look like a prophet this time.
This is unbelievable. Well, I called fly balls and ground outs at the beginning of the game, and Joe Short has yet to strike a batter out. Now I said Cronin wasn't starting tonight probably because he was going to be in long relief, and, well, John Cronin now warming up in the bullpen, making me look really good. Runners on second and third, nobody out. The batter now Bobby Wilson, 1 for 2 in the game with an RBI double. First pitch to him, foul, slide out to deep right field. Valiente back on his horse, 1 step in front of the warning track, makes the catch. The runner on third will tag up. The throw to third base, cut off and not in time as Des Perfett cut the ball off. On to score is Brian Graham on the deep sack fly by Bobby Wilson. Bobby Wilson now has 29 RBIs on the year, slowly catching up to Seth Peach. And there's now 1 down here in the bottom of the fifth, 1 run in. The score is now 4-3. But more importantly, Seth Peach with heads-up base running, moving into third base and getting himself in scoring position. Now it puts pressure on the defense as infield is going to have to come in for the Twisters as Evan Shahak will step up 0 for 2 in the ballgame. Shahak has flown out to right field both times. Would love to do that here in this particular at-bat. Would probably get him a sac fly. Infield all the way in, Short into the stretch and the delivery. Fastball gets away from the catcher Davies. Coming in to score is Seth Peach, and he will tie the ball game up. A pass ball by Seth Peach, and that will allow the runner from third base to score. And North Adams has struck for 2 runs here in the inning as they plate the second run of the inning. And the score is now knotted up at 4. 1 out, nobody on. The 1-0 count now to Evan Shahak. Shahak 0 for 2 in the game. Right-handed hitter. Short into the windup and the pitch. Misses low ball 2. 2 balls and no strike count. And gets back to Torrington not capitalizing as they had an opportunity last night to score some insurance runs. They didn't. They kept the North Adams Steeplecats in the ball game. And they've capitalized on it by scoring 2 here in the inning to tie the game at 4. That pitch misses outside, ball 3, and the count now runs 3 balls and no strikes. So Joe Short, who doesn't usually walk a lot of batters, now in behind the count 3-0 to Evan Shahak. Sean Richards awaits on deck. Still nobody out in the inning. I'm sorry, there is one out in the inning. 3-0 pitch, taking all the way. The count 3-1. Bobby Wilson was retired when he hit the sac fly. So one down here in the 5th. Nobody on. A 3-1 count. Evan Shahak doing the DHing duty tonight for the Steeplecats. The 3-1 offering on the way. Misses outside, ball 4. Joe Short has walked his second batter of the ball game. Shahak 1 for 1 in the stolen base department on the year. Not much of a threat to steal. Sean Richards the batter, 1 for 2 in the ball game with a run scored. He is a right-handed hitter and playing a little first base tonight. And Richards steps in with an opportunity to keep this inning going for the North Adams Steeplecats. Already 2 runs in. They've tied the game up at 4 already. Runner on first base is held on by Fasano. Lipshut shaded to left center field. Valiente normal depth, so a big gap between right and center fielders. Joe Short into the stretch. Checks the runner at first, now throws over. Sliding back to the bag is Evan Shahak, and he dives back in safely. Joe Short, a very deliberate wind up to the plate. Very easy to steal off of. Very important for him to keep the runner close. Short into the stretch. Comes to the set. Checks the runner, and the pitch out calls. Nothing doing. Ball 1. Not a really great pitch out, actually, as Davies stepped out to take the ball. Joe Short nearly threw a strike. Whether Joe Short knew the pitch out was on or not, I don't know, but that ball kind of fooled Davies. Throw over to first base, diving back to back safely is Shahak. 1-0 the count to the batter, Sean Richards. We're in the bottom of the 5th. You're joining us late. North Adams has tied the ball game up here with 2 runs in the 5th inning already. It's a 4-4 score. Short into the windup and the pitch. Ground ball between short and third. A base hit into left field. Stopping at second base will be Evan Shahak. On to first base, Richard with the single. Third hit of the inning for the Steeplecats. Now there's runners on first and second and only 1 down. And that will bring up Nick Roberts. Roberts in the game 1 for 2. Single back in the 2nd inning. Flew out to center field in the 4th. Cronin still warming up in the bullpen for the Twisters. As the Twisters have seen their 4-2 lead evaporate to 4-4. Now the North Adams Steeplecats are threatening with an opportunity to take the lead here in the bottom of the 5th. Excuse me. As Nick Roberts steps up to the plate with an opportunity to try to knock in Shahak from second base. 1 down, runners on first and second. Joe Short looks in for the signs from Davies. Sets, looks the runner back and the first pitch. Fastball line drive out into right center field. Nobody's going to get it. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Rounding third base is Evan Shahak. Right behind him is Sean Richards. He slips around third base. Now he'll get up and try to score. The throw to the plate. Not in time. Richards scores. 2 runs in on the 2-run double by Nick Roberts. And North Adams has exploded for 4 runs here in the inning. And they have taken a 6-4 lead.
Well, that almost got a break there with the slipping and falling of Richards. They almost would have got him, but that throw was a little bit low and away, and Davies just couldn't hold on to it behind the plate. Yeah, he slipped and fell about a quarter of the way down from third base to home.
And that double will bring Coach Hunt out to the mound, and that will probably be all for Joe Short. Runner on second base, 1 down. North Adams has erupted for 4 runs in the inning. All started with a single by Brian Graham, a double by Seth Peach. Bobby Wilson hit a sac fly. After Evan Shahak walked, a single by Richards plated Seth Peach. And now a big 2-run double by Nick Roberts to deep right center field. Plates 2 more runs. And the Torrington Twisters have seen their 4-2 lead not only evaporate into a tie game, but now a deficit. As North Adams now leads in the game 6-4. Coach Hunt will actually leave Joe Short in the ball game. Cronin not ready yet to come in the ball game, as it's a long walk out to the bullpen. It's way in the right field corner. Cronin ran out there with backup catcher Steve Self back when things got a little sticky. Still has not warmed up entirely enough to come in the ball game. So Joe Short's going to have to pitch to Pat Dioria. Dioria came into the game 9 for 88 on the year, but he is 2 for 2 in the ball game. Runner on second, 1 down. A nightmare inning for the Twisters thus far. Short into the stretch, comes to the set, checks the runner at second and delivers. Fastball in the dirt, ball one. 1 ball, no strike count to Pat Dioria, the number 8 hitter in the lineup. Barring a line him out double play, Kyle Kelly on deck. He is the 9 hitter in the lineup. Dioria, the right-handed hitter, awaits, short, delivers. Fastball fouled out of play down the right field line. The count evens now, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, Dioria from Cortland State, and he resides in Upper Nyack, New York.
Beautiful area up there. A lot of snow in the winter.
Oh, I can imagine.
Dioria digs into the box. Joe Short checks the runner. The 1-1 on the way. Missing high, ball 2. Not missing by much. Count now 2 balls and 1 strike. Torrington trailing 6-4 in the ball game. We're in the bottom of the 5th. A lot of hits and a lot of runs thus far in this ball game. Joe Short into the stretch. The 2-1 pitch on the way. Fastball swung at, grounded to first. It's off of Fasano's glove and into right field. Grounding third base on to score. Valiente now bobbles the ball in right. The throw to second, it hits the runner and goes into left field. Nobody is covering third base. The runner will stay at second base. Give it a double error on the play. Torrington's third and fourth errors in the ball game. Another unearned run in the ball game as E3 on Fasano, allowing the runner to get to first base. Then Valiente misplaying the ball in right field. That allows the runner to score and allows the batter Dioria to get all the way to second base. A double error on the play. And there's now 4 errors in the ball game for the Twisters. And the Steeplecats now take a 7-4 lead here in the bottom of the 5th. Still only 1 out in the inning. The runner at second base is Dioria, and now Kyle Kelly, the batter. He is 0 for 1 in the ball game officially with an RBI. Hit a sac fly his last time up.
Well, overall, a pretty smooth-going game most of the way. Then all of a sudden, this bottom of the 5th inning was a total disaster.
I think what they're going to do here, Joe Short is going to step off the mound, and they're going to appeal first base, saying that the runner never touched first base. And they're going to appeal, and safe. As they appeal to first base, saying that the runner, Dioria, never touched first base. But the appeal to no avail, as the runner is safe. There's a runner on second, 1 down. A nightmare inning for the Twisters. 5 runs in already on 4 base hits. They've committed 2 errors. Joe Short into the stretch and delivers. Fastball swung on, line drive to third base, picked out of the dirt by Ladd Hall, caught in the air for a line drive out. The runner, Kyle Kelly, trying to run to first base, saying the ball was trapped by Hall, but the umpire said he caught it in the air. And a line drive out for the second out of the inning. Now the 9th batter in the lineup, Jesse Perez.
Now Hall standing almost right at the right spot, barely had to take a step on that one, but he did have to lean and bend down all the way down and caught that ball, as obviously almost close to the ground as they were trying to make it look like he trapped it just before getting to the ground.
Well, Ladd Hall making a nice play on the line drive, and there's now 2 down, runner on second base. As Jesse Perez steps up, 0 for 2 in the ball game with a run scored. He walked in the third and scored on a big 2-out RBI double at the time by Bobby Wilson. 7-4 is your score. Steeplecats with 5 runs here in the 5th inning has reversed a 4-2 deficit to a 7-4 lead. Short into the stretch, pitches ball 1 high and outside. Called strike 1, apologize about that. 0-1 the count. Our home plate umpire a little deliberate with his strike calls, and the crowd's so loud here I can't hear the strike or ball call. And the count's no balls and 1 strike. Joe Short trying to minimize damage. The 0-1 on the way. Blocked nicely by Davies. A curveball in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike count now to Jesse Perez.
Actually, we point out the noise of the crowd. I'm not complaining when I enjoy a lively crowd, and this is good to see a lot of noise in the stands, but we're getting the full effect of it. We're actually in the stands with the people, and
we're not
right
in the press box.
right in front of the press, but the windows are right up above our heads here. But
we're getting the full throttle that we're getting here. 1-1 on the way. Fastball missing outside, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. I tell you, if North Adams were to win this ball game and maybe possibly win the Western Division and get that home field advantage in the playoffs, no team is going to want to come here and play the Steeplecats. The enthusiasm of the crowd is just overwhelming. And no matter what the score is, they seem to be all in the game, and they seem like very smart fans. Not as smart as Torrington's fans, of course. 2-1 on the way from Joe Short. Pitch is called a strike on the outside corner. The count now evens off at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You just have to pass it along, too, because I'm sure also listeners listening can hear it at the backdrop behind our voices. There is a lot of noise in this grandstand.
Very hard for us to hide it. Good thing that we have the headphones set close to our mouth so you can hear us. 2-2 on the way. Joe Short looks in for the sign, steps back off the rubber. Now looks in for the sign. Can't get together with Davies. Now he does. Checks the runner at second base, Pat Dioria. The 2-2 on the way. Curveball call, strike 3. He gets Perez looking. First strikeout of the ball game for Short, and the side is finally retired. But the North Adams Steeplecats draw blood. 5 runs on 4 base hits. There was 2 errors committed, 1 runner left on base. We've completed 5 here at Joe Wolf Field. North Adams has stormed back and taken a 7-4 lead. Head to the top of the 6th inning. Torrington trailing 7-4 in the ball game. They will send up Lou Farrell, Ladd Hall, and Emery Davies. That is your 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup. Been very productive in the bottom of the order, as the bottom of the order has produced all 4 RBIs. Lou Farrell had a sac fly back in the 2nd. Ladd Hall had an RBI double in the 2nd. And Emery Davies had a 2-run double in the 4th. So the bottom of the order, 7, 8, and 9, have driven in all 4 runs for the Twisters. So I guess down 7-4, this is the part of the lineup you want to be at. As Robert Martinez, who was very nearly pulled in the 5th inning, goes back out for the 6th. Now on the upper end of the things, as he's winning in the game 7-4. First pitch to Farrell is a little flare down the left field, and then that's going to drop in for a base hit. Farrell rounding first and will stop at first with a broken bat single. As Farrell did not get a lot of that ball, he was fisted badly, but popped it just enough over the third baseman's head to Wilson to fall, and it fell out in the shallow left field for a base hit.
Yeah, the lucky hit. Fell in right at the right spot.
I tell you, Lou Farrell, beginning of the year, I felt like we was hitting the ball very hard. I wasn't getting anything to show for it. Last night he went 2 for 4 in that ball game. This game officially 1 for 1 with an RBI. The hit was not hard, but it's a hit, and he's starting to turn things around. Now the batter, Ladd Hall, takes ball 1 low, 1-0 the count. Ladd Hall 1 for 2 in the ball game. RBI double back in the 2nd, struck out swinging in the 4th. Officially 1 for 2. So Farrell on first base, top of the 6th inning, nobody out, leadoff man on. A 1-0 count to the batter, Ladd Hall. Martinez delivers, fastball, foul tipped at the plate. The count evens off now at 1 ball and 1 strike.
You're listening to the World of Arts, People, and Joy. WAPJ 89.9 FM, Nutmeg Conservatory Broadcasting in Torrington. Along with Jeff Denoyer, this is Jeremy Palutro coming to you from North Adams.
And we got ourselves a barn burner of a game. 7-4. We've seen the lead change hands now twice. North Adams leading 7-4 in the ball game. We're in the top of the 6th. Martinez checks the runner at first base. The 1-1 offering on the way. Curveball, call, strike 2 over the outside corner. Ladd Hall does not agree. The count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runner at first base, Farrell is held on by the first baseman Richards. A big hole between first and second. But Ladd Hall being a right-handed batter, not as much of a chance to exploit that hole as maybe if a lefty was up. The 1-2 on the way. Fastball, he rung him up. Called strike 3. Hall knew it. He goes back to the dugout. Strikeout number 5 in the ball game for Robert Martinez. And that will bring up Emery Davies, the Torrington Twister catcher. Emery Davies, 1 for 2 in the ball game. Had a big 2-out, 2-run double to deep right center field back in the 4th inning. Flew out to the center fielder, Seth Peach, in the 2nd inning. A fine over-the-shoulder catch, robbing a hit of Davies. Davies has gotten good wood on the ball twice. Steps up, left-handed hitters, first pitch swinging. Foul ball down the left field line and out of play. 0-1 the count to Emery Davies.
And Davies, as we've said, a very late acquisition to the team, catching now, and also the departure of Wick Udy. Comes from John Logan College from Louisville, Kentucky. He's a big catcher, 6 feet 4 inches tall, 215 pounds.
And Martinez looks in for the sign from Roberts. Fake throw to first base. Farrell not diving back at all. In fact, didn't even make a hesitation to go back. Farrell has a good-sized lead at first base. Martinez into the stretch. A long look at the runner and the 0-1 pitch. Fastball just misses outside, doesn't get the call. Roberts tried to frame that one on the outside corner, but didn't fool the umpire. The count now evens off at 1 ball and 1 strike. Emery Davies has got incredible power. We've seen him hit a home run already on the year. The 1-1 on the way, runner goes. It's a changeup, and there's just no chance to get Farrell there. Farrell got a humongous jump off the pitcher Martinez, And to coincide that, nice slow curveball, and Roberts didn't even bother throwing. 6 stolen bases of the game for the Twisters. Farrell's second base stolen of the year.
Yeah, Farrell just took off. I mean, he was motoring down there.
No chance to get him as Martinez threw an off-speed pitch, coincided with the fact that Farrell got a huge jump. The 2-1 on the way, missing outside ball 3. So Torrington trying to claw their way back in. They're down 7-4 after a 5-run 5th inning by North Adams. Top of the 6th started off well for the Twisters as Farrell got a bloop single to left. But a strikeout to Ladd Hall. Now Emery Davies in a 3-1 count. Probably one of the better fastball hitters on the team. Awaits the 3-1 pitch, and he gets a curveball, and it goes way outside. And he misses ball 4. So Martinez starting to do what he usually does. That's walk number 3 of the ball game. He does have 5 strikeouts in the ball game. Now runners on first and second with 1 down. Now bring up the leadoff man in the Torrington Twister lineup. Now bring up Lawrence Best Perfect. He is 1-4-3 in the game. Larry Best, as they call him, has a stolen base. He stole his 4th base back in the 3rd inning. Comes up with runners on first and second and 1 down. Torrington trying to get themselves back into this ball game. Probably a little bit of shell shock in the dugout after they had a 4-2 lead going into the bottom of the 5th, and a big 5-run North Adams outburst in the bottom of the 5th inning has reversed the score. North Adams now 7-4 on top. Farrell on second. Davies on first. Martinez looks in for the sign and delivers. Slider in the dirt, ball 1. 1 ball, no strike count. And I had mentioned in the top of the broadcast that Martinez has walked 24 batters in 30 innings going into this ball game. He's been pretty much around the plate most of the game, but you got to figure he's probably getting a little bit tired. His pitch count missing ball 2. So we're starting to see the wildness of Martinez now a little bit as he walked the batter last inning. He walked the batter in the 4th. He's walked the batter here in the 6th. And he's now behind in the count, 2 balls and no strikes to Best Perfect.
Well, one compliment to the Twisters pitching staff. There's only one pitcher with 20 or more walks given up in the season. That's Jason Jones with 22, but he doubles that total with 44 strikeouts.
And the 2-0 fouled off down the right field line out of play. The count now 2-1. Torrington has some ridiculous walk to strikeout ratios on their team and ridiculous walks to inning pitch ratios. As Torrington this year, very stingy in giving the free pass.
Well, Ladd Hall has walked 10 batters and has struck out 21. Joe Short, going into the game, 11 walks to 12 strikeouts. He's, as we said, about even.
Pitch misses outside, 3-1. Jeff Horgan's an interesting one. 5 walks and 31 innings pitched. That's an incredible ratio.
5 walks to 39 strikeouts for Horgan.
That's just an awesome ratio, 1-7. I mean, the bottom line is Torrington doesn't walk people. Most of the NECBL pitchers walk to strikeouts and walk to innings pitch ratios are pretty decent. But Martinez is not. The 3-1 pitch, ground ball to short, and it takes a wicked hop over the shortstop Perez. They will hold up Farrell at third base. The throw comes in and cut off by the third baseman. That ground ball hit to Perez. It looked like he was going to field it. It was going to be a routine play. He probably would not have turned 2 on Best Perfect. He runs like a deer. But he would have definitely got the 4th play at second. That ball took a nasty hop back over his head. He's lucky to get his face out of the way. A bad hop single. So Torrington not hitting the ball particularly hard this inning. A bloop single down the left field line by Farrell off a ball that he was completely jammed on. Then a walk and now a bad hop single to shortstop. Maybe destiny on the side of the Twisters to get back in this game. The bases are loaded with now 1 down. And Roberto Valiente comes up to the plate. He is 1 for 3 in the ball game. But a big discussion on the mound now. As the head coach, and you got to help me out with it again, Winter Road. Thank you very much. Comes out, and he will take Martinez out of the ball game. So Martinez labors through 5 in the 3rd inning. He gives up 10 hits in the ball game. Walks 3, strikes out 5. Thus far, 4 runs, but he is responsible for every single runner on the base pass right now. And there'll be a pitching change, and as soon as we get his number, we'll let you know who he is. Torrington threatening here in the top of the 6th, who scored North Adams 7, Torrington 4. Bases full of Twisters with 1 down, and there will be a pitching change to face Roberto Valiente. And as soon as we get his number, we'll let you know who he is, give you some information about the young man. And Mike Ekstrom.
Mike Ekstrom, who comes in with a 1.20 earned run average. He has a 3-win to 1-loss record in 12 appearances. In innings pitched and even 30 innings pitched. He's given up 15 hits, given up 4 runs, all of them earned. Has walked 16, has struck out 32 batters, and opposing hitters at 150.
When I covered the game, when the Steeplecats came to Torrington last Thursday, I did the internet, and I did it with one of their announcers named Kerry Columbus. And he was telling me a little bit about, he had a good insight on the North Adams Steeplecats. He's actually standing behind us right now. And he gave me some good insight about this team, about some of their personalities and about some of the people that have really come through for this team. And I asked him, I said, who do you think the MVP for this team is? And I almost caught my breath when he said Ekstrom. And I kind of laughed a little bit, because here you got Seth Peach, you got Mike Wagner, you got Bobby Wilson. These guys are all in the top categories in hitting departments. But he said if there's one guy on the team that has just time and time again come through for them in middle relief, keeping them into games, giving those batters a chance to make a difference in the later part of the game, it's been Mike Ekstrom. Comes into the ball game with a lot of innings. I mean, 30 innings. And I don't think he has a game started on the season. Mostly all relief pitching, if I'm correct.
Yeah, there's 0 games started, absolutely.
That's a lot of innings. 30 innings pitched on the year, and he's just been a relief pitcher. He has more innings pitched than some of the starters on their team. And Ekstrom, and I asked Kerry, he said Ekstrom by far is the MVP of this team. He's come into time and time again situations with bases loaded, with nobody out, and has somehow been a Houdini getting out of it. He'll get the ground ball back to him, get the home to first double play. He'll strike a batter out. He'll get a pop-up in the infield. The bottom line is he has been the guy that the coach, Winterhead, has gone ahead and called on to in key situations to get him out of the inning. And Mike Ekstrom now in that same situation here, as bases loaded, 1 down, top of the 6th. Twisters trail 7-4, and they call upon Ekstrom once again to try to kind of douse the fire.
Well, it's like occasionally in the major leagues, even when every once in a while a pitcher will win a Most Valuable Player award, usually associated with a hitter, especially with the Cy Young Award. Doesn't happen too often anymore.
Now Roberto Valiente steps in a big key situation. First pitch swinging, he's late on the fastball and out of play down the right field line. 0-1 the count to Roberto Valiente. Ekstrom comes into the ball game with a 3-1 record. To my surprise, doesn't have a save on the season though.
No, that's why I skipped past it. Yeah, no saves. And I was reading through, I didn't think of him as a reliever because he didn't have reliever type of numbers. No game started and 0 saves. You know.
0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Valiente blown away on that fastball. The count, no balls and 2 strikes. Ekstrom quickly ahead in the count. Yeah, they have a closer, and his name is Chris Homer. He nails down the games, and Ekstrom's a setup man. But Ekstrom not only pitches like in the 7th and 8th inning, but talk to Kerry, he pitches mostly 6th, 7th, and 8th innings. He'll pitch you 3 innings if he has to. He's got a live arm. 0-2 on the way. Out of the stretch is Ekstrom. Fastball, call strike 3. Rings up Valiente on the outside corner. First strikeout of the ball game for Ekstrom. And there's Torrington coming up with bases loaded and 1 down and not producing again. A strikeout looking by Valiente as he looked at a fastball on the outside corner. Now 2 down in the inning. And Mike Sokol to the plate. Sokol 1 for 3 in the ball game. Struck out looking in the 1st, grounded to second base in the 3rd, singled in the 5th. And Torrington just time and time again leaving base runners on base, and now they need a 2-out hit from Mike Sokol against one of the best relief pitchers in the NECBL. Pitches outside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strike count to Mike Sokol.
Speaking of Homer, he has 12 saves, and he's the only pitcher in the rotation who has any saves barely. Jennings has 1 save, and McKenzie has 1, and Rio has 1. Everybody else has 0.
And Rio is not even with the team anymore. Rio is actually with Middletown now. Picked him up in a late season trade. Giants looking for a little lefty relief help. Traded with North Adams. Player to be named later.
You don't hear about that too often in the NECBL.
Hey.
Oh.
2-0 on the way. Fastball high and tight. So Mike Sokol, looking at the first 3 pitches, the count 3 balls and no strikes.
I think I remember you telling me this a while back, and the guy on there thought you were serious too, and I took you seriously again. That's right.
I did it on the internet, and I got an IM from somebody on the messenger saying, wait a minute, the NECBL doesn't do trades. 3-0 on the way from Ekstrom. Taking all the way is Sokol, called strike 1 over the heart of the plate. 3 balls, 1 strike count. Well, if there's ever a time to get to Ekstrom, now would be the time. Bases loaded, 3-1. He's got to come in with something good here. Sokol's got to be sitting dead red. And hopefully sit back and rock a fastball here and tie this game up quickly. The 3-1 pitch, he was swinging at the fastball, but Ekstrom got it by him. It was a foul ball, but he was way late. Barely got a piece. The count now runs full, 3-2, so the merry-go-round begins. Off from third base will be Farrell. Off from second base is Davies, and off from first base will be Best Perfett. All of them will be running on the pitch. 3-2, 2 outs, top of the sixth. Torrington trying to claw themselves back in this game, trailing 7-4. They had bases loaded and one down, but Roberto Valiente struck out. Now Mike Sokol trying to pick him and the Twisters up. The 3-2, fastball, fouled on the left field line and out of play. Count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. We'll do it all over again. The runners were in motion. They'll be in motion once again. Something hit to the gap here by Sokol would be sure to score 3 runs, as Best Perfett runs very well at first base. He's off with the pitch already with a head start. A gapper right here would tie this ball game up. Sokol back into the box. Ekstrom in the stretch. The 3-2. Fastball fisted towards short. It's got English on it. Perez Fields throws to first base in time, and the side is retired. Ekstrom does a great job to get out of the jam, and Torrington scores no runs on 2 hits. No errors in the inning, and they strand 3. We've completed 5.5 here at North Adams. The score remains North Adams Steeplecats 7, Torrington Twisters 4. And bottom of the 6th inning, North Adams leads in this game 7-4. They'll send up Brian Graham, Seth Peach, and Bobby Wilson. That's the meat of the order, the 2, 3, and 4. They'll be facing a new pitcher. John Cronin has come into the ballgame to relieve Joe Short. Short goes 5 innings, allows 9 hits, 7 runs, 5 of them earned, 2 walks, and a strikeout in the ballgame. Cronin now coming in here in the bottom of the 6th, trying to keep the Twisters close. 7-4 is your score. North Adams leads. 4 runs, 10 hits, 4 errors for the Twisters. 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Steeplecats. Cronin will face the part of the lineup that started it all off last inning. Brian Graham started off that 5th inning with a base hit. A harmless base hit turns into a 5-run inning for the Steeplecats, and they now lead this ball game 7-4. Cronin finishing up his warm-up tosses, and he'll have to go out and face Graham, Peach, and Wilson, and that's a tough task in your first inning, as the 3 of them have incredible stats on the year, the majority of their RBIs on the season. Just keep in mind, North Adams playing without their best player, Mike Wagner, hit by a pitch last night's ball game in the elbow, believed to be very serious at first. Went to the hospital, had it checked out. I talked to a couple of the guys from the Steeplecats press box here that cover the games, and said that he actually is going to be okay. Just a deep bruise in the elbow. He's got a big old purple welt, he said, right by the arm. You can actually see the stitching of the ball where it hit him, which is just amazing to me. I got hit by a line drive pitching one time in my leg, and I had the stitches in my leg for like 2 weeks. You couldn't get them out. It was like a bruise with the stitches.
You actually had the stitches from the baseball on your leg.
Unbelievable. Well, that's what happened last night to the star Mike Wagner for the Steeplecats. Got hit by a pitch, by a fastball right in the elbow, and in the back of the elbow, there's actually stitches marks where the ball hit him. It's a big, deep bruise, but he'll be okay and should be cleared to play this weekend when the playoffs begin. As North Adams could possibly be here. If they were to win this game, they have an opportunity with a Danbury loss to possibly get themselves in the top of the Western Division of the NECBL. First pitch from Cronin, called strike 1 on the outside corner, 0-1 the count to Graham. Graham 1 for 3 in the ballgame with a run scored. He was the spark plug to start that big 5-run inning last inning. He's a left-handed hitter. Cronin a right-handed pitcher. Curveball swung on, tapped up the first base line, and foul. And Cronin ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. John Cronin comes into the ball game tonight with a 0-1 mark, a 4.32 ERA on the year. Just pitched 8 1/3 innings, allowed 4 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. He's walked 6 and struck out 4, and has allowed 1 home run on the year. Cronin works from the stretch, as does Tyler Dabo, even without runners on base. The 0-2 on the way. Swing and a miss on a fastball on the outside corner. Cronin strikes out the first batter he faces. And there's one down here in the bottom of the 6th.
You know, Cronin getting off on the right foot here in the 6th. That's the way you want to start out. That's a good feeling for a pitcher. That gets the confidence level up.
That took Joe Short 5 innings to get 1 strikeout. It takes Cronin 1 batter.
And again, Graham, one of the toughest hitters in the Steeplecats order. Cronin comes in and gets him out.
Now Seth Peach comes up to the plate. 1 for 3 in the ball game. Hit a long, deep double down in the right center field gap. His last time up came around to score later in that inning. And Cronin's first pitch to Peach. Inside slider, ball 1. 1 ball, no strike count to Peach, playing center field tonight. Played left field for the Steeplecats in Torrington last Thursday. Cronin into the stretch. The 1-0 offering on the way. High and tight. Backs Peach off the plate. And the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Get the razz from the crowd. I don't think any intent on that pitch by any means. Cronin has walked 6 batters in the 8 1/3 inning, so wildness an issue for him sometimes. And he's behind one of the better hitters in the NECBL, 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, Peach from Oregon State University.
There's a fastball off his foot, and it'll be a foul ball. Peach going to have to walk that one off. He got it right off the left foot. The count now 2 balls and 1 strike. Seth Peach walking it off, and Emery Davies going out and is going to talk to his pitcher, giving a little bit of time for Peach to walk it off, and that's a nice gesture by Emery Davies to do that. As him and Cronin talking out there by the mound just for a little bit, just to give Peach a little extra time. And that's a nice gesture right there by the Torrington catcher. As nothing hurts worse than fouling that ball off your foot.
You know, Peach, a teammate of Wick Udy, the Twisters catcher who recently has left the team within the last week or so.
And a 2-1 count to Seth Peach. Cronin looks in for the sign from Davies, and the 2-1 offering in the dirt ball 3. 3-1 now. On deck, Bobby Wilson. And this is the part of the lineup that will has just destroyed other teams during the course of the season. Seth Peach has 32 RBIs on the year, and teammate Bobby Wilson with 2 RBIs in this game now has 29. They're among the league leaders in the NECBL. Pitches in the dirt, ball 4. Cronin walks his first batter, and is now a runner on first with 1 down, and that will bring up Bobby Wilson. Bobby Wilson's 1 for 2 in the ball game, has 2 RBIs. Got an RBI double back in the 3rd and hit a sac fly to deep right field in the 5th. And he's officially 1 for 2, 2 RBIs, and he'll bat with a runner on first and 1 down.
Cronin came full circle. He got both his first strikeout and his first walk out of the way right here.
That's pretty
now
much.
he'll start retiring him on ground balls and pop-ups.
Now we'll see the Joe Short him come out.
Right.
Seth Peach modest lead at first. The curveball called strike 1. A nasty deuce right there by Cronin. One of the best curveballs I've seen him throw all year. That had a lot of 12-6 break on it to count no balls and 1 strike. If you're wondering, Seth Peach 4 for 5 in the stolen base department. Not a lot of attempts, but been successful when he goes. Pitches in the dirt, ball 1. Cronin now evens off the count 1-1 to Bobby Wilson, playing third base tonight. Bobby Wilson usually does the catching for the Steeplecats, but last game against Torrington he played first base. Tonight playing third base. So a little bit of a jumble in the defensive alignment for the Steeplecats tonight, as Roberts is behind the plate. The 1-1 pitch, slider in the dirt, gets away from the catcher, onto second base goes Peach. That'll be a wild pitch. And the runner now on second base, and a 2-1 count now to the batter, Bobby Wilson.
And Wilson from St. Petersburg University, native of Florida. Seminole, Florida.
So, North Adams with the runner now in scoring position. 2-1 the count to Bobby Wilson. As Cronin will look in for the sign, a little bit different signs now as they have to do a different combination with a runner on second. Fastball way over Bobby Wilson's head, but a swing and a miss. Helps out Cronin there. That easily was ball 3. The count would have easily been 3-1. Pitch was up by his eyes. He went around and didn't come up with anything. Count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. 7-4 is your score. North Adams with the lead. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. And there's 1 out. Cronin into the set. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball, swing and a miss. Cronin gassed him up, and he comes up empty on the swing. Strikeout number 2 for Cronin here in the inning, and there's now 2 down. Runner on second base. Now bring Evan Shahak.
Well, Wilson, some hard cuts in that at-bat against Cronin, but it comes down to strikeout.
Well, Cronin gassing it up a little bit. He got the fastball by him on 2-2. Now we'll face Evan Shahak. He over 2 in the ballgame and a walk. He came around to score in that big 5-run inning. Cronin steps off the rubber. 2 outs, runner on second base. Torrington down 7-4 in the ballgame, trying to keep it that way. Runner is in scoring position for Shahak. Seth Peach, who walked in the inning and got to second base after a wild pitch, in scoring position. Cronin looks in and delivers high and tight. Ball 1, 1 ball, no strike count. Well, if Cronin's not doing it on purpose, he's being effective. He's got to own the plate. If you're going to make your curveball on the outside corner be effective, you got to make sure that the hitters aren't diving over the plate. Cronin went up and in on Peach, now goes up and in on Shahak. And the count 1 ball and no strikes.
Yeah, if it was, that was done just right both times.
That's what you got to do as a pitcher, though. You see some of the best pitchers in baseball. Like they said, you got to own the plate. Roger Clemens is a classic example. He pitches inside for a reason. 1-0 on the way from Cronin. comes back over the plate with a curveball, called strike one. The count 1-1 now to the number 5 hitter in the lineup, Evan Shahak.
Well, fairly large gap out in left center. Oregon, the left fielder, shaded a little bit toward the foul line, and then the center fielder, Lipschutz, is playing a little bit shallow, and he's shaded toward right.
Big gap between left center. Shahak could pull the ball in between that hole. The 1-1 pitch, it's a curveball, and it's a nasty one. Cronin showing a nice breaking pitch, called strike 2. The count now 1 ball and 2 strikes as the batter, Evan Shahak, doesn't agree with the call. Home plate umpire is staring him down, telling him to get back into the box and move quicker. And if he doesn't get back in the box quickly enough, Cronin can actually pitch that ball and get a pitch over the plate for call strike 3 without even a batter in the box. We've seen it happen before. It happened in the major leagues a couple nights ago in Minnesota. The runner breaks for third base. The chopper to Best Perfett fields it on the second hop, throws to first base in time, and the side is retired. So no runs, no hits, no errors. 1 runner left on base for the Steeplecats in the bottom of the 6th. Cronin has himself a successful 6th inning. We go to the top of the 7th inning. The North End Steeple Cats lead the Twisters 7-4.